Hello everyone. In recent years, it is increasingly common to get an exotic unusual animal as a pet, and not a puppy, hamster or kitten. Gone is the fashion for rare breeds of dogs. No one will be surprised by an extremely expensive pedigreed cat or a huge talking parrot. Now completely different pets are in fashion, which is difficult to imagine in the same dwelling with a person. These are top 10 most unusual pets. Here we go. Lemurs are suitable as pets for those who do not want to spend a lot of time handling a pet. You can only tame a young lemur because even a cub gets used to a person for a long time. The lemur will not make noise and play pranks, and it will like it if you let him out of the cage more often, because this way it will be able to get acquainted with the house and quickly get used to the new environment for him. But be prepared that it will start marking the territory wherever it wants, and the smell from its secretions is not the most pleasant. If you try to tame a lemur to the toilet like a cat, then it will get angry and start biting you at every opportunity and screaming loudly. If the pet does not like its owners, it is only their fault. By nature, lemurs are very attached to the owner, and if you are in friendship with them, the animal will give only joy and fun. And if you try to train, offend, and even more so beat, then you will not get any love from your pet, only destruction and frustration. Common raccoon. Who decided to get such an unusual pet should carefully weigh all the factors for and against. They are very sociable and love affection, but at the same time stubborn and capricious. You can try to train the animal, but you need to do it tactfully. The thing is that common raccoons are very smart. So, if you yell at them, they can take offense and take revenge. Common raccoons are also very jealous. Despite the fact that the home maintenance of common raccoon is not something particularly difficult, this animal is one of the most restless cohabitants you can imagine. A potential owner needs to be prepared for the fact that the animal will tear the wallpaper to shreds and gnaw the furniture and 100% spoil the upholstery of the sofa. Even in a friendly atmosphere, common raccoons remain wild animals, ready to leave a few fresh scars and scratches on the body of their owner at any time. And the males like to mark their territory. Not every owner will like it. The common raccoon is clean. That is why it will try to wash and rinse all your things, whether it is socks or a phone. Sometimes common raccoons troublemaking, often out of boredom. And if there are other animals in the house, then the animal will quietly and imperceptibly steal their food. If you have taken a common raccoon, then get ready to devote all your time to it, because it requires attention like a small child. The features of this cute animal include curiosity and courage, because they will easily climb on the curtain or climb over the balcony to their neighbors. Common raccoons are sometimes kept as tame animals in the United States and in many other countries around the world. As a rule, common raccoons do not live more than 20 years. All rodent lovers will love the chinchilla, which looks like a very fat squirrel but is much more beautiful. Chinchillas were the object of intense hunting because of the valuable fur, which led to a strong decrease in their numbers. The long-tailed chinchilla is kept as a pet and bred for fur on numerous farms and private rabbit farms. The rodent's skeleton is designed so that it can shrink when the animal needs it. Sensing danger, the chinchilla can crawl even into a very narrow gap located in a rocky mountain. This animal is able to live from 15 to 22 years and, like any animal, requires care and attention. If the animal is released from the cage, it will immediately begin to study every corner in the room, as their ancestors lived in endless labyrinths of stone scree. Keep in mind that they try everything on the tooth. Therefore, you should not leave them outside the cage unattended. Biting of wiring under tension with the inevitable death of a pet is very common. It is noteworthy that chinchillas have a very strongly developed cerebellum, thanks to which chinchillas have excellent coordination, and the animals move freely and safely on the rocky slopes of the mountains. Chinchilla is herbivorous rodent. Any food, they will have to taste. The basis of the diet of these charming animals: seeds, grass, plants, shrubs, beans. They do not disdain the small bugs and insects. Tiny goats, pygmies. Speaking of unusual pets, it is impossible not to mention dwarf goats, incredibly playful and demanding animals. Despite their tiny size, pygmy goats can create a lot of noise. These horned animals are incredibly socialized, so they feel better in the herd than in proud solitude. You need to show the goat who is the leader as soon as possible, otherwise, at every opportunity, it will prove the opposite. If the goats will be kept on a farm or in a country house, then you can take them to pasture, and if there is no opportunity for the animal to graze, then you should stock up on grass so that at any time your kid can chew something. By nature, animals love to climb. They are experts in climbing the peaks, so the fences must be strong and high. The wardrobe and refrigerator are not a hindrance to them. They are easy to train, and if you decide to have such a creature at home as a friend, you can train them to celebrate their natural needs in a specially designated place, but they will still present surprises on the go. They will also chew everything that gets in their way: tablecloth, curtains, bedspread. Red-spotted genetta, the homeland of these animals in Africa. They are strong and active. Such mammal can be an excellent companion for people with an active lifestyle and independent character. Externally, the genetta resembles a cross between a domestic cat, a ferret, and a raccoon. By nature, it is incredibly shy and gets along best with one owner as of the only favorite pet. These are nocturnal animals and, in the daytime, this graceful predator prefers to sleep off in some secluded corner. When in a good mood, it tends to purr as domestic cats do, and if it gets angry, it can start to hiss. The diet of this slender graceful beauty should be varied and balanced. As the main course, the spotted genet will quite like the usual cat food purchased at a pet store. They're the only ones you can't do without. Your African lodger should also be fed low-fat varieties of meat, chicken, turkey, rabbit. You can give beef. Also, do not forget about fish. It contains a lot of vitamins and trace elements that are necessary for the good development and good health for your friend. The Madagascar cockroach may look formidable, but its character is very calm and cute. It does not touch anyone and does not bother anyone, only sometimes hisses if disturbed. As a home, experts recommend for him a small terrarium at the bottom of which you can throw dry leaves, paper scraps, and sawdust. Cockroaches are omnivorous and will happily eat any vegetables and fruits, but they also need a source of protein and calcium in the form of bread, dry dog food, bones, meat and fish waste. The main thing is not to leave uneaten food for a long time and periodically clean the terrarium from waste. And it is also very important to heat at least part of the terrarium to a temperature of 28 to 35 degrees. The Madagascar cockroach is thermophilic. With a lack of heat, it will not be able to digest food and will die. That is why the escaped cockroach will not take root in the apartment and will not turn into a pesky parasite. The wallaby belongs to the class of marsupials, so keeping it at home is the same as keeping an ordinary kangaroo. They mostly live in Australian families. Wallabies can reach 1 meter in height and weigh up to 24 kilograms. Wallabies like to live in a pack, and therefore they need the company of their relatives. It should be warned that they don't lend themselves to training. But if you still decide to get yourself this jumping pet, you should give the wallaby time to acclimatize to your country, and despite the fact that wallabies are born from warm Australia, they do not like high temperatures and can live in open enclosures even in sub-zero temperatures. It is best to buy a wallaby when it is still feeding on a bottle. So, the animal will be easier to get used to a person, and for the wallaby, it will be much less stressful than transportation and taming already in adulthood. In addition, the process of feeding on a bottle will help to get closer to the owner and an unusual pet. Sloth. Incredibly, there is a growing interest in sloths as pets. It is strange that in the world of modern fast technology, people like a very slow animal. The sloth fully lives up to its name. This is a very lazy animal that sleeps up to 20 hours a day. But it is still quite difficult to maintain it. Calm, slow and fluffy. These animals grow up to 73 centimeters in length, weigh up to 8 kilograms and eat salads, boiled eggs and sweets. However, vets do not advise to tame them to sweets, because the sloth can get sick. Despite the fact that the animals are quite undemanding, in their enclosure, there should be bamboo, a lot of rope twine and a hammock, so that the animal can catch and hang on a branch throughout the day. It reacts very poorly to cold and heat, so you need to monitor the temperature. With good care, the sloth can live at your home for up to 30 years. In order to keep an iguana as a pet, it is important to understand the correct care methodology, what exactly is necessary for safe placement and nutrition, as well as interaction with the pet. The iguana is a fairly large animal that requires strong and safe housing. In fact, an iguana can become a very sociable and intelligent pet. But they have strict dietary and medical requirements. Owners of iguanas should always provide them with fresh food and water and periodically trim their claws. In their natural habitat, the food of iguanas is flowers and leaves. Unfortunately, in a home terrarium, it is difficult to choose a suitable diet so that the reptiles receive all the necessary nutrients. Offer the iguana a choice of fruits and vegetables, as these pets often lack various substances. The iguana cannot be grabbed by the tail, the reptile can throw it away. Of course, the iguana will not die, but it will be very difficult for it to keep its balance and climb the branches. Adults may never grow new tail, and toddlers often grow it out faster. Kinkajou is a very cute animal, and it is quite friendly. This handsome creature is very similar to a teddy bear, but with a long tongue and tail. These animals are long-lived, so they can live for about 40 years. Kinkajou does not tolerate noise and fuss. The presence of these factors makes it restless. In a stressful situation, the baby can be aggressive and even bite. Its bites are quite painful and take a long time to heal, while the saliva of the animal contains bacteria that cause serious harm to human health. The animal likes to beg for treats from its owner, does not miss the opportunity to stretch out its paws to the person at every appearance. An exotic animal requires special care and careful compliance with all the maintenance instructions, so before you get a cute Kinkajou in your home, you should think and evaluate your capabilities. If you like these exotic animals, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we, in turn, will continue to delight you with amazing videos. Friends, thank you all for your views. See you soon.